thought we were going to start at 8:35, so we're a little late. We're close.
No, it says 8:35 right on the television there.
Does it?
Yeah. Blindy.
It says 8:36.
Now?
Oh, yeah. Now. Well, yeah. We'd have been on time if somebody went late. Probably mic up. I'm probably a good idea.
Yeah. Who's late? Who's late to the party?
You. You are late again.
I'm here. I'm mic'd up.
You're still late. You're late every week. It's becoming a habit. I'm going to start docking you and pay.
Oh, no. You're going to start making me pay to be on the show?
There you go. Oh, sorry, Doc. What have you been doing? What was with that Ultra TV setup of absolute pain?
That's my new setup, man.
Mammoth. You got double 55-inch
No,
TV action.
it's a 55-inch and a 32-inch.
What do you need all that raw TV power, Brent? What are you doing over there?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I showed the picture of the new living room setup. We redid the living room.
Let me ask you a question.
Well, reset up the living room.
You're telling me you played today's Amstrad games in 55-inch glory?
That's right. Well, 55-inch pixels the size of your fist.
You could like reach out and grab a pixel, you know.
See, there's a VR game for you.
Pixel Hunter.
Or you've got relatively nice graphics, and then they morph into like that 8-bit style. And to kill your enemy, you take the pixels and rip out. And then it re-morphs back into the higher graphics minus those pixels.
I like that. Make that happen.
Yeah.
Get on that, ma'am.
I'm a designer by name only.
I'll turn that heater off, I think. But you think it's... We'll wait till somebody comes in and we'll see if it's too loud.
Well, we got people here. They just ain't chatting. No. They don't love us like they used to.
Look at that DM3K. He's got his cocoa all fired up. Everybody, it's cocoa fever. It's spreading. Spreading like wildfire. Just like Amstrad fever. This is going to be the biggest week for Amstrad of all the times. Since it was a big thing.
Hey, Curtis. Yeah. This is
Now look at that. We were just talking about the Cocoa, and the Cocoa commander rolls into town. First man in the chat. I was just telling Brent, one of our Discord buddies, sent me pictures of his Cocoa. He's firing, and he pulled it out of storage where he's firing that sucker up. We're starting the march, the Cocoa march. You know what Boat told me? Get this. John Boat of Car Schaller. He calls me, or he sends me a message. He goes, hey, do you still have that Cocoa 2? I'm like, yeah. He goes, listen, I'm going to buy that from you. I was like, what? What up, Jace? And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, listen, I got to get me a Cocoa. I got to have one. This is Boat. John, I don't like hardware Schaller.
But what?
But because when we were over there playing Cocoa games the other night with the SD solution, it was
right.
And everything was working and it was loading up, and he got the fever, man. This is what I told you. People are like, oh, it's the Cocoa. This thing's a week late. No, incorrect.
No,
you
Cocoa's
knew
got all
that.
kinds
I know
of
you
good
know,
games.
but no one else knows. Is my point.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, can you guys hear our heater over there? Do you hear a dull hum that's not Brent? Uh-oh.
I bet you don't hear it now.
Hold on, be right back. Well, I guess not. We're using a heater.
How? Wait, is this thing with two different circuits?
Huh?
Oh, you tripped the... Aaron, you're letting them see behind the curtain.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. Let's see how I actually reset this thing.
Today is the first day of the year cold enough to try to heat up Studios East, and Aaron has blown it.
No, the heater's blown it.
What are you trying, Aaron? Okay, stop.
I'm gonna plug this. I'm not no heater over. I'm just gonna plug this in so we can have heat.
But
I'm just looking for where I've got my nearest.
Why don't you just reset your power strip?
The power strip doesn't have a reset.
Yeah. Yes, it does, Aaron.
You think I can just turn it off, turn it back on?
No, there's a little button.
Not on this one, there's not.
Aaron excels at computers and fails in all other aspects of life.
There's a little button on this thing.
Would you like me to come help you, Aaron?
No, I'm telling you, listen. I'm not a freaking infant. I know if there's a freaking button.
So you're saying that all that power is dead forever?
It's not dead forever, but it's dead for months and months. That's okay. I've got a backup plan.
Let's shove more power. More power.
Come on. You're still in line, aren't we? There we go. See? Crisis averted. No heat, but crisis averted.
That's it. I agree.
This will be our shortest show ever.
Chip says you're out, Aaron.
What?
Put that bottle of Diet Pepsi in your seat.
Come on, Chip. Listen. In West Virginia, you got power. They got rid of the coal, and so this is what you got left. Power. We got weak power. You got weak power around these parts, man. That's a problem. Hi, guys. Man, I got up for 2 seconds, and here comes the throng of people. Hey, who went to the big Amiga Germany show yesterday or today? Anybody in here attend the big show?
The big show.
Did you see all the stuff that came down at this show?
No.
Holy smokes.
No, I haven't seen anything on that show.
The Amiga's back. It's just, it looked like a trade show from like the 90s. There's all kinds of crazy new hardware, and I mean crazy. There's stuff that interfaces a Raspberry Pi directly into the expansion slots. Crazy things that will run your 68,000 like 120 megahertz. And there's standalone vampires you plug into toasters, vampires that you plug into your iron. They do everything. It's crazy time. If you've got enough money, and I'm talking the big euros. You know what I mean? Like 600-700 euros up in that area. You could literally make your Amiga fly to the moon. Does everything, every conceivable thing. So there you go.
Wow, I
holy smokes! Look at Curtis's. Holy smokes, 14. Oh man. See, I don't need that. I did not complain about the heat. Because I knew this was coming. It's time to start scraping cars and all that crap.
No, I
hate that.
This is my preferred weather. Yeah, it's nice and brisk at night.
It's brisk, all right.
And then during the day, it gets up to about the mid 70s, and then we're done.
Not this weekend.
Not
the mid 70s.
Well, once again, we've skipped fall and it headed straight to the winter. The winter temperatures.
But you're right, man. You're right, man.
We had what, one or 2 days of fall.
Yeah.
We went from 90, 94, 95 to...
Last week it was 98.
Yeah. And this week...
It's not 98.
This week, I think the high this week is supposed to be 72.
This heater doesn't like to be on these power strips.
Well, you have to put it the same place you've got the AC.
It trips over there, too. It's Tripomania.
Is it running wild?
It is. No, it's not running wild.
It's falling down a lot.
Yeah. It's running cold is what it's running. So what are you going to do, though? Hey, at least we're still in line. We got that going for us.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, did you get plenty of Amstradium this week?
Weapons grade Amstradium.
Yeah. You have never played the Amstrad because that was a show me and Boat did, I believe.
I never played it on here.
Right.
Well,
that's what I mean.
To be completely honest, I don't know if I have ever emulated an Amstrad until this week.
You know, the funny thing is,
I don't think I did.
I'm trying to think what me and Boat played on the last Amstrad, on the one we did. And I believe I used the big emulator that's got everything pre-rolled. So this is the first time I actually sat down this week and got the discs and stuff, and actually had to go in there and learn all the disk commands and stuff. I mean, I had to. Oh yeah. I mean, I had 2 emulators, but I just wasn't doing what I wanted, man. So I had to go in there and I had to add a virtual expansion and stuff. So I feel like I got a good taste of the sack me. I just saw that. Take off, Ego.
Slow hand Joe.
But yeah, so I actually kind of enjoyed that aspect of it. Hey, listen, I was going to mention something to you. You know, next week is let's see, today is the 13th, so next week's the 20th. So in 2 weeks, and really we'll have to do it, the next week when we have to do it, because, well, no, we can do it on the 27th now that we're doing this live. We got to do some kind of Halloween gimmick.
Well, yeah, the 27th.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we should think of what to do. I should mention, I was going to talk to you about this, so I just sort of did.
He's going to mention the mention. Oh,
yeah, I got more.
Worked out.
I got more. No, we're coming back.
I know.
Say 10-minute time limit has expired. So I released the show live, just released it last week, and
Yes.
just that's all I've released.
And that's well, okay.
And so I went in and I put a gimmick in there. It said, okay, when the show starts at this time proper, you just click on a little gimmick, bam, you're gone. And also when I linked it off our page, I linked it directly to the starting
Right.
time.
Correct.
I just feel like we should just never ever just screw it. We'll just do it that way.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Now,
Because I don't want to. Since we released 600 shows a couple weeks ago, I don't want to burn any more goodwill by releasing 2 shows a week. I was like, just because it's the same exact show.
yeah, no,
except
that's
for the mindless idiocy like right now. And so I figured,
no, that's exactly how you should do it. That's exactly how you
now.
should do
And
it.
the thing is, I figured I could go back and chop them up later for posterity if God
Well,
forbid that.
I
ever
was
happens.
thinking,
Well done.
even if you wanted to make, and you don't have to tie it, you don't have to link it, you don't have to do any of that crap. If you wanted to make an ARG Presents YouTube channel and just throw them all up there. Just
Say that again. I was reading Roscoe's post. I'm sorry. What were you saying? Because we're weird Americans. Oh, do you think we're weird? What? I've got a short attention span. Please, just break out and hit reset and tell me what you were saying about the show.
make a new YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Don't link it to anything.
Yeah.
Upload the just show versions there.
Just
for
make
you
one where
guys.
we have no one following us. Just,
Well, it's just for completion's sake.
okay,
Just so you
I might
know.
do that. Maybe I'll put it on my channel. I've got no
Oh
subscribers.
no, don't do that. No one wants your channel.
Take off.
Well, you don't even get on your channel.
Well, that's true. I don't have anything on there except for like Mothman stuff, or me playing my old pin meme. I got that on there, so that's about it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got frosty in here quick, didn't it?
I mean, if you're a loser.
I should have worn shoes.
I was about ready to ask if you're wearing socks.
No, I'm not wearing anything.
Idiot.
What do you want? West Virginia? Hello.
No, that's a horrible.
I mean, me can't afford no shoe, yo.
No.
Wow, what lingo was that? Maybe we are weird. I'll think about it.
You're some kind of freak.
Oh yeah, I mean, no, I'm just messing with you, Roscoe. Hey, listen, we this is weird, Americans. No, listen, we like to dip our toe in the pool of many multinational computers and consoles and whatnot. I don't know if you've ever seen the show.
Hey, gaming's gaming, baby.
That's right.
And it's nice to taste all the flavors.
I have to admit, I do dig it. And the funny thing is,
Kind of like Roland.
I was talking to Bode about this yesterday. We've got, I wouldn't say homegrown, but we've got, when in the Coco, I feel like it's almost, and the Dragon, of course, in the UK, but I feel like it's almost like a smaller, less popular American Sinclair type thing. It's a very niche community of people that are still into it. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a bunch of people, but it's not like millions of people. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the Nintendo, for example.
Dozens of people.
And it's kind of neat to be going back into that pool. But when it comes to stuff like when me and Boat do the Spectrum stuff, it's almost always a hoot. We did Frank Bruno's boxing this week. It was a punch out knockoff.
Yeah. I saw you kill it.
I didn't kill it. It killed itself. I wanted to love it. Are you kidding me?
It looked fine.
It's the
right,
loading and stuff is horrible.
Well, no, you're right. That was pretty bad.
And I've been told that that's sort of a necessary evil. No. Don't apologize. Don't apologize, no, man. It was. I wanted to like it. Also, they just took Punch Out guys, Super Punch Out guys, and just renamed. Did you see the names?
Yeah.
They were like, this isn't quite offensive enough. How can we make this even stupid, like Frenchy French?
Yeah.
It's not that offensive. That's just dumb.
It was obviously a product of a different time. I'm not saying that excuses it, but it at least puts it in perspective.
I learned a healthy respect for Frank Bruno, though, and because anyone that releases their own hit single, I'm okay with.
Well, I've done that.
You have a hit single?
Yeah.
What was it called? Yeah, that sounds about right. Where was this a hit at? Caveman? Ooh. I can't. I've heard you do Rock Band. I just can't imagine you getting up there and getting a hit single out.
Oh, what are you saying?
I say you're no good at singing. Is what I'm saying.
That's not fair.
Clearly, of the two of us, I'm the more sensational singer.
You're the more boisterous.
But you got that right. That's part of it. Exuberance, excitement. You bring that to the mic.
Well, at least you brought something.
What are you saying? And talent, range. I've got a broad range.
Well,
I can be
you've
horrible.
got a broad sword.
I can be horrible at many different octaves. I can go down to
Well,
everywhere in between.
And the thumbs down come raining in.
We're gonna get the thumbs down any way it goes. I figure we might as well earn it this week. We'll sing perpetually into the mic. But
speaking of which,
yeah.
Speaking of singing,
Yeah.
John sort of forgot his gimmick for this week.
He didn't do it. He purposely didn't sing.
He read the names backwards, and I'm not sure what song that would be.
Well, that was my idea because I thought it'd be funny, and it was. It was quite funny. But no, but I think last week that song, Boat is getting more and more obscure, and I think in the last week's
that
song,
wasn't obscure.
It wasn't, but his version of it was. I love that song, and I had no idea what he was singing. He does all this crazy college music. He needs to get back with the mainstream. You know what I mean? Listen. Those days are over. You can only hear Susie the Banshees and freaking the Smithereens so many times. You got to move on, man.
Beatles, Queen, Van Halen, stupid college music.
No, I'm not talking about that, obviously. There you go. See, look, Steve, he's the weirdest of the bunch. Now, see, boy, I'd like to have a Amstrad after this week. You know, I don't know which one, though. To be honest with you, I think I want the one with the little disc drive, although I've heard the disc drive's garbage. You know,
the tape player is more.
They've got a 3-inch, and they've got, I think, as I recall, the Amstrad has a 3-inch disc drive and a 3.5-inch. They've got like a special Amstrodium Super Whammadine. No, it's crap. I've always heard it was crap. You know, the tape. I like the fact that they've got the gimmick has everything built into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a very handsome looking unit.
Yeah, well, it's goofy looking, but
I like it.
I like the
it looks
colors
good.
and stuff. Yeah, it's a. I'm not saying it's unattractive. It's just when you strap that cassette deal on there, then it gets kind of goofy.
Here's the way I look at it. The upside is one thing, you've got it all. No cables, no wires. It's all there.
That's true.
The bad thing is your tape drive fails. Then you just have to lug around a dead tape drive for the rest of the time.
You're kind of boned on that if it goes bad on you. You know. Hey, check this out. I got an interview with the guy here. I found an old one. It's pretty good with the people that did it, so it'll be kind of fun to talk about.
Okay.
You know, you probably don't know anything about this. But
yes, I do.
Oh, have you? You actually looked into it a little bit?
I did my research.
All right. Well, I mean, good.
I also found many people that use the comparison videos from the old Amigos channel in their videos.
It's not. What do you mean the old Amigo show? It's the current Amigo
It's
channel.
those old rascals.
No, come on. That's as up to date. That's as timely as today's headlines. That channel.
But yeah, I saw a lot of people that had spliced in clips of that into their videos.
And we will be no exception as we hork that too.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying.
We blew up one side. I was looking. Oh yeah, we'll blow it up. Don't think we won't blow it up. I looked at our channel this week. We had a pretty good run this week. We had a lot going on there. Oh, I got some.
I mean, after you drove off droves and droves of people.
They didn't conform to my way of thinking.
Did we ever get those back?
Yeah, we got them back. So we got some
little YouTube hint, guys, for anyone running a channel out there. Don't dump 40 videos of old content in one day. Like some people don't like that.
Did you notice I managed to splice that into the podcast. I did a lot of editing to get that to work. I also edited out of the rain. As much as I could, anyway. Boats that he didn't even notice it would change, but I could notice it pretty easily.
Well, when you're looking at it,
that was heavy rain, hard rain. It was going to fall. It was a lot of hard rain. That's probably the best rain we've had. What are you looking at?
Didn't you hear the roof? It's like tink, tink, tink.
Oh
tink.
yeah, but that's morning dew. That's what that is.
Yeah, heavy morning dew. Those drops come down.
What did you do? Any cool gaming stuff? Did you guys have your gaming day this week? Or is that after the show?
Yeah, we did more of the VR RPG.
Oh, God. I don't know about that.
Yeah, and next week we are firing up Monster Hunter World again to get ready for the new expansion.
Monster Hunter, I played that on the Wii, I believe.
Yeah, way back. Oh, speaking of Wii, I have a Wii controller. Do you want it?
Yes.
Otherwise, it's getting pitched.
What?
I said
Yeah,
otherwise.
yes, I want that. Don't pitch it. You don't pitch controllers. You lost your mind?
That's why I'm asking you
Yeah, I'll
if you
take
want
that.
it.
Does it have one of the gimmicks on the bottom, or is it just a plain J
No,
controller?
it's a Janer.
That's okay.
There's no chuck. It's
Listen, take gimme.
All right.
You can't have enough of those things. I mean, you can use those for other stuff. Too. You can use them on your PC.
I believe this is the one I took to work and used as a cell phone controller for a while.
Ooh, GoTech on the Amstrad. I never thought about that. That's how you do it. That's a good reason to get. Yeah. Because, I mean, the GoTechs are, you don't know anything about the GoTech. It's awesome. You know?
GoTech.
No, you don't know nothing. You're out of the loop. You need to get yourself some classic hardware and get back in the game.
No, absolutely
You need to
not.
get yourself some classic hardware and get back out of the game.
No. My classic hardware are the various arcade things that are sitting in my basement, and then I can't fill it up with more computers.
Yeah, you can. You got tons of room down there.
No, now it's all full of TV.
Oh, please. You've got plenty of space down there. I'd like to see you get, let's see, you know what you need to get is a...
if I was going to get any retro
Dick
computer...
Smith Wizard?
No, it's Dick Smith Super 80.
Oh, that's not even the one I was talking about. I was talking about the Dick Smith Wizard. I don't know what that is. A Super 80.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
All right, we'll go, well, okay. But you need to get something like that. That would be, because no one's got that around here.
Nah, if I was going to get anything, I'd get a Sam Coupe.
Well, reach for the stars, pal.
Well, I'm just,
I don't blame you. I like to have one of those myself. A lot of people, even the luminaries in this field, like your big players, like I was talking to Retro Man, even he doesn't have one of those. He's got a ton of good stuff.
Well, it's
costs too much money.
Well, it's really. Oh, hey, children.
you never walk out in a movie, but
in 2 years,
yeah,
we'll have the kids through college. We'll have hopefully the debt from that paid off or mostly paid off, and then it's go time.
It's go time. Then it's gonna be crazy time.
Then I'm gonna have a lot more time. I'm gonna have a lot more money. I'm gonna have a lot more whatever you're looking at over there.
Action Max. That's what you need to get. You need to get a GoTech with an Action Max. Then you'd be. Can you make that happen?
I think it's called YouTube.
Which I wonder if you can. I bet you can hook get a gimmick where you can hook like a CD player up to it or the DVD. And but now we don't have to use the VCR tapes. Although it does take some of the fun out of it.
But
it should work on a DVD, shouldn't it?
Well, yeah, but you have to have a CRT television.
Yeah, I got one. That was one of my all-time favorite episodes.
Oh, everything is your all-time favorite. I thought Zeus was your all-time favorite.
That was good too,
episode.
but actually the Action Max, because your hatred of that and vitriol for it, I can't figure out. That's a charming console.
No, I didn't hate it. Okay, we got to fire it up.
We do?
It's time.
No, it's not. We got one more minute. Listen, relax. Let's talk more about the Action Max.
No. If they want more Action Max, then go watch the episode.
And the song in that episode, I had to violate copyright protection laws or whatever, and put "I want action tonight" at the end. I was so happy with my own cleverness.
That's gonna be the video that blows up, and then we're nothing.
That's gonna be the one, is it?
That's it.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I'll be honest with you. All right. Well. So, standard fare. I told you we got some emails this week, didn't I, about the pie pieces and some Discord.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw the Discord stuff.
So, but make sure you pitch that again this week because we didn't get nearly enough. Also, so we're just going to be standard fare this week. I'm pretty sure that I've got you going first. Yeah. I do. All right. All right, you guys know the routine. We're going to go dark, extremely dark. And then we're going to, just like the opening we used to have. And then we're going to fire this sucker up. All right, here we go. Let me get the beard. Sometimes you get that beard caught on the gimmick. That hurts.
That's why you fold your beard back, man. You don't let it just go.
This beard don't fold.
You don't let it go all goatee.
Listen, I'm a goat. All right, here we go. All right, we'll be right back. Here we go. Firing it up. Hello everyone! Welcome to an Amstrabulous edition of ARG Presents. I'm Amigo Aaron, joined by a man who, much like the subject of this week's show, started out as underpowered, underutilized, and underappreciated, but in recent weeks has risen up to be a powerful figure in retro gaming. I give you the BRENT.
I'm not powerful in any manner.
Well, I tried to throw you a bone there. That's what you do with it. What a dipstick, folks. So, last week, if you joined us, you saw that we spun the wheel, but we did not make the deal. We made no deal.
Well, the deal was made for us.
That's right. Our fans, our buddies, our comrades, our partners in crime.
Or at least the folks that showed up in chat.
That's right. They made the deal. And what did they decide? And think about this, Brent. In the pantheon of retro gaming, retro computing, they demanded one system. And it's as timely as today's headlines, Brent, I might add. We're going to be talking this week about, you got it, the Amstrad.
Yes.
More specifically, Amstrad CPC. Brent, you weren't around
No.
when we saw the Amstrad the first go-around. Of course, chat choice, you get to pick anything, even if we've covered it. And that was me in the boat. So this is your first go-around with the Amstrad.
It is.
What are your opening volley of thoughts on the Amstrad?
This was something, a computer I've never touched, I've never emulated, I've never played with. And mainly because I never had a reason to. Mm-hmm. Since I grew up with a C64, when I go back and play that era of games, I play C64 games. But taking a look at some of the Amstrad stuff this week, I'm going to have to start actually looking into this a little bit more and playing a little more games on it.
Yeah.
Some of them are very interesting, and I can already tell, it does go to both extremes. There are some really, really bad games, and there are some really fun games.
I think the Amstrad was and of course, I can always say this from what I've read and what I've seen, what I've played, but the Amstrad to me seems that was the victim of portitis.
It was.
It got the quick and dirty ports, and the ports seemed to play down to the lowest common denominator often. And so what you got, really, I think almost all the British systems suffered from portitis, and of course, portitis went on to other countries and consoles and systems. So since you weren't here for the first go-round, we're going to do just a quick, brief review of the Amstrad. So Brent, the Amstrad came out. The CPC Amstrad we're talking about here,
right,
in 1984.
That's correct.
Right, 1984. And they ran this sucker until 1990. You want to take a guess? I know you have no idea, but just for fun, how many of these bad boys do you think were sold?
I will say 2 million.
3 million. That's not bad for you, man. Now, the majority of these were loading stuff off of tape.
Yes.
We talked about it before the show that the Amstrad had a couple floppy drives, and they had this crazy 3-inch floppy drive that I've heard was garbage, but having not used one, I couldn't tell you. It looks like it's got a pretty good little keyboard on it, too. I was pretty impressed with that. I noticed that your game this week asked if you had a green monitor.
Yes.
I thought that was an interesting way to put it. But I guess these sold with a green monitor and with a color monitor when they first came out. Now, the introductory price all the way back in 84, you're looking at with the green monitor. All you need is monochrome.
Right.
199 pounds.
Yeah.
And then
that's equivalent today of what, about $650?
It's not bad. And now with the color monitor, you're looking at 300 pounds, $299.
Oh, that's not bad.
So $100 extra for that. I'd probably go ahead and do it and go with
splurge.
Go with the green. Amstrad was founded by Alan Sugar, the famous Alan Sugar, if you know who he is. He was 21 years old, and the name. I'd forgotten this. Something that's clever. The name of Amstrad came from the Alan Michael Sugar Trading. Amstrad. Yeah, kind of neat, eh?
Yeah.
So that's the way you do it. So we're here, by the way, if you're watching the video. This is Alan Sugar's hometown here. We just plopped ourselves right down in the middle of the street. Now, you looked through some of the games to this, Brenny. What was your take on what you saw?
Well, like I said, you could tell that some of the games on the Amstrad were absolutely rushed to market.
Yeah.
Port it, scam it, clone it, whatever it took, just get it out there. And those games really pale in comparison to some of the other stuff out there. And some of the games that I looked at were pretty good.
Yeah.
They were pretty good. They were, well, I'll get into it during my segment.
Yeah.
But I looked at all the Roland games, and I think it really is a telling timeline of garbage to good. that the Amstrad has.
You know, being Americans, we can only comment from afar on what we've seen. So I will say this, and given that this could be a misconception, but we hear a lot of love for the ZX Spectrum.
Absolutely.
And I don't hear nearly as much about the Amstrad, not until recently. Now, this is not an indictment of the Amstrad. This is just from my perspective. So I don't know if this is what it was like over there at the time. So
no, I 100% agree.
So
I mean, the reason why I never looked at this beforehand was I didn't even know it was a thing.
Right. So, and you may not know this, Brent. It's pretty famous, but on April 7th of '86, Amstrad announced that it bought Sinclair Research, and this is when they bought, which included the Spectrum, for £5 million.
I would definitely have thought, not knowing what I know now, I would have thought that would have been the reverse.
Yeah, that's exactly, and so it always just struck me as odd. And now, from what I've seen enough films and read enough to know that part of the problem was that Sinclair went off and did some really crazy stuff that cost the company a lot of money.
Right.
So I mean, crazy awesome, but still crazy. So get this: when Amstrad bought Sinclair for £5 million, they made more than that just selling off their surplus stuff.
Huh.
So they were sitting on more than £5 million. So that's
crazy.
It was like, we're getting the heck out of here, type of numbers there. So, and that's the way it went down. And the Amstrad went on to they kept making computers for a while. Ultimately, just like the Amiga and everything else, ultimately the PC ended up taking the day. But when you look through, again, I've only played a few Amstrad games, and they were all for this show. The truth of the matter is as I look through these games, there's some good looking stuff in here. It's a very nice, colorful palette.
Oh yeah,
and it seems to move at a good clip. And I think that if you would have gotten past the porting problems, I think you might have had an extremely capable system here.
I also think this had a bit of market flood.
You think there was too much going on?
I think there were good and bad games.
Yeah.
And when you don't filter out your bad games and it gets in the hands of people, and it starts getting that stigma.
I think you might be right. And so again, I would love to get hold of one of these. And I was telling Brent that to play my game this week, I had to actually get in there, and there was no just hit the button and make it work. I had to get in there and learn how to load stuff off cassette, learn how to do directories. And it was actually pretty fun, to be honest with you. I actually enjoyed it because I'm a geek. I don't know what to tell you. I was in there hitting cat and getting and learning how to run stuff, and but it was neat. I kind of like that stuff. And it seems like a pretty capable OS. And clearly, like I said, as we've looked through some of the games, they could do a lot of good stuff. So I think
absolutely.
I would say this thing was probably. I mean, you've got if you think about 8-bit in the UK at the time, all right, you've got of course, you've got the Spectrum, you've got the C64, you've got the Dragon machines, you've got you've got a few others that were a little, that were contenders in there. And this one was sort of, you're right, I think maybe just got overwhelmed a little bit. I don't know how, I'm assuming, I don't know what the numbers were as compared to the other ones, to be honest with you, but I know I think it was like a in third, between the Spectrum and the C64. So, all right, with all that said, now we had a look at the library of this, and I have to say, I knew instantly what I was going to play as soon as this was picked, because it was too timely not to. Brent, but you had to nose around.
I did.
Yeah. And so you ended up choosing something. I have to say, I'd heard of the name of the guy, but I'd never heard of any of the games.
Well, and that's why I picked him, was I saw he was on multiple games, and I thought, I got to find out what this is about.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and kick it off. What do you got for us?
Well, I chose to take a look at Roland Goes Digging.
All right.
And before we can really get into Roland Goes Digging, we have to find out about Roland, the character, who is based off Roland, the man.
There's a man named Roland.
There is.
A legitimate, actual man?
Yeah. In fact, we'll go ahead and talk about Roland, the man first. Roland Perry was the hardware engineer on the Amstrad.
Okay.
And I mean, he did the whole 9 yards. He went to bat on the chip that went into the Amstrads. He makes a big point of this. He didn't come up with the design, the physical layout and colors and stuff of the. He said, that's not me. That's a designer's thing. I am a hardware engineer. I get all the chips and put them together, and that's a major computer. And one thing about this guy is he had to go and find all these chip manufacturers in secret because they didn't want the Lord dude. Help me out here, Aaron.
The Lord dude.
The Amstrad main guy.
Sugar?
Yeah. They didn't want him. He didn't want other people knowing what they were doing.
Right.
So he had to make up a name, and he went with Arnold, which is actually one of the software engineers, and pitched this idea that they needed chips so they could go around and get prices and stuff. It was all him. So he did. Not only did he design the actual hardware, he went out and made a lot of the deals that ended up getting the Amstrad made. So he was a very, very important figure.
All right.
And that is why they made, Alan Sugar said, you know what, we're going to have a main character mascot, and we're going to name him Roland after you, because he did such good work for the company. And Roland actually was not a big fan of this.
You mean not of the game or any game or him being in a game?
I think he didn't like the name use. I mean, it wasn't that he didn't want his name being used. He just didn't want to be a character in games.
Man, I'd be all over that. Come on, Roland.
So we have to take a step back and look at all the games that he was a part of before we focus on Roland Goes Digging. First of the list in 1984 was Roland Ahoy. And this had Roland as a pirate, and you would go and you would steal cannonballs, and then you would shoot your way into a fort, and you would steal their treasure, and then take it back to your island, and you'd have to fight all the way. It was a map overlay screen with enemies, and then each individual thing, like when you were stealing cannonballs or going into the fort, it was its own little game.
All right.
It was okay. A lot of people hate this game, and I don't quite understand why. It was kind of boring.
Yeah.
Because it was very repetitive. All the scenes are basically the same. Dodge the projectiles, get what you need, come back. But I thought it was actually a pretty good game. Rolling on the Ropes. I never got this one to actually load up, but I want to talk about it. It is more of a action-adventure game where you're exploring tombs to collect treasures and ammunition and map pieces until you eventually climb out of the tomb and go to a new tomb. Looked like it ran and played really well. This is probably the top of the Roland games, and this also came out in '84. Then you have Roland in the Caves, also 1984, and this was based off a game called The Flea. That was a Spanish game, and you have this incredibly leaping ability that allows you to jump from platform to platform, and you're trying to outrun enemies to get to the top of the cave and escape. It didn't play well. It didn't look great. It didn't sound very good.
Now these were all made by different people.
These
right?
were Roland Ahoy was Computer Smith. Roland on the Ropes was Endocomp. Roland in the Caves was also Endocomp. And then they had Roland Goes Digging, which is by Gem Software. I'm going to skip that for now since we're going to talk about it in length. After that was Roland Goes Square Bashing by Darrell. This is a puzzle game where you have squares on the screen, and once you touch the square, you have to move on to a new square. The square behind you disappears. All right. So the puzzle aspect of it is you have to maneuver around to get the right pattern, so you get all the squares cleared, and since you can't backtrack. It has some of this isometric 3D sort of perspective, which kind of made it confusing.
Yeah.
But
it sounds confusing.
But it was okay. It was okay. I don't think it was any great feat, but it was okay. Then you have the infamous 1984 Roland on the Run by Epic Soft. Yeah. This game is the dirt worst.
Why is it so bad?
The graphics are fine.
Yeah.
The sound effects are okay. But absolute worst game play there is. You control a train, right? That you can speed up and slow down.
Yeah.
And then you have 2 lanes of traffic going in either direction. And you have to jump into the back of a truck and then jump into another back of a truck going the other way until you finally get to the other side.
So
it's sort of
like
Frog.
Hobo.
Well,
it's a Frogger-related, Hobo-related game.
this is it, you're right. It's sort of like if Hobo had no powers. The little man that you control is just horrible. He's really hard to get to do. I mean, you hit the button, he jumps, but the perspective is sort of this not quite. It's sort of isometric, but not really.
Yeah.
So getting it to jump to the other thing, it's just really bad, really, really bad, and it's universally hated. It's not just
that
me.
one sounds kind of interesting to me.
And then you have in 1995, Roland in Time.
Yeah.
This was another one by Gemsoft, which also made Ghost Digging.
Yeah.
And this is basically a Jet Set Willy type game.
Yeah.
Run around. Each room has its own theme. You collect the items and you go to the next room.
Yeah.
And its big thing is you go into telephone booths, a la Doctor Who style,
Yeah.
and you warp around to the levels.
Makes sense.
Which, of course, when you go to different time periods. And then 1985 saw the sequel to that as Roland in Space, where instead of jumping from time to time, you jump from planet to planet.
Yeah.
And it's sort of doing the same thing. It's a more updated Jet Set Willy, Minor Willy type game. And it was by far the biggest Roland success.
Oh.
It actually did okay. The very last Roland game was in 1985, which was one that they put in a magazine that you just typed in the code.
Oh, yeah. I used to do that all the time.
It was a type-in. And that was Roland Takes a Running Jump.
Okay.
And it was sort of a Jet Set Willy type game, but it was really hard to control.
My God, how long did it take to type that in? I think it was this game.
I looked and looked
Jet Set
and
Willy's
looked.
huge.
Yeah, well, it's this might just be a one-screen game even because I couldn't find footage past the first screen. Of course, I wasn't going to type it in. So
God, so in like just a couple of years, how many of these Roland games they make? They're cranking these things like they were going out of style.
Including the type-in, 9.
No.
9 games.
That's the way you do it. Flood the market with your mascot.
And here is why, and this is the last aspect of the role and the character I want to talk about, and then we'll move on. This is the worst thing you can do for a mascot. He didn't keep the same appearance.
Yeah.
He didn't keep the same skill set. He didn't keep the same genre of game. He was literally anyone who wanted to use the Roland name could just put it in their game, and it was basically fine.
You're kidding me. So we could make a Roland game.
Well, I mean, if there was an approval process, I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was at a time when Amstrad was desperate for people to develop for their game,
Yeah.
for their system, games for it specifically, and they needed a hook to say, you know what, we're real, we're for real. You're not going to make your game and sell it to 4 people. We're going to really go out there and kill the market. Look, we've got this mascot. You can even use him type of affair.
Now, did Roland appear on any other computers or consoles?
Well, the Roland on the Ropes did get ported to the Spectrum, Commodore, and PC.
No kidding.
So Roland does exist in all other
But it was ported by other people, since that's the type-in one, right?
No. Roland on the Ropes.
On the Ropes?
That's the Tomb
So
Collect.
so their mascot got sort of like Bonk. He got hooked up on other machines. I guess that's crazy, man.
But of course, unfortunately, like I said, Roland was really a mascot in name only. No aspects of him transferred into other games, and that's really, you can't do that for a mascot.
Can you imagine if Nintendo, for example, got so desperate for you to play on their system and for people to make something, they just said, "Listen, here's Mario. We're just gonna offer him up."
Yeah.
Can you imagine what would have been done to that guy? Look at the crap on the CD.
Yeah, I was about ready to say.
So you can imagine. That's bizarre. What a story. What
So
a tale.
out of the Roland games, before I knew what Roland was all about, because going back, I would have picked Roland in Time. But I got Roland Goes Digging.
I was wondering, was there a specific reason you picked this one, or just like the name?
I saw the list of Roland games. I said, I'm going to pick a Roland game.
This sounds better than Going into Space or Time. Roland Goes. This is the lamest sounding one. That's like Roland sits around drinking coffee.
I don't think Roland takes a running jump is going to beat that.
That sounds outstanding to me. That sounds great.
So, in Roland Goes Digging.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. The story was this is so obscene. Okay, I'm going to read it verbatim from the old Bookaroo.
It must be good if you're going to read it, because you hate that.
Roland is working on a building site and has discovered a gang of aliens trying to take over his unfinished structure. The foreman, a sensible man, has offered a bonus to Roland to clear the building of space squatters. Roland, not sensible at all, has taken his spade and has set out to supplement his meager income. Your task is to guide Roland and help him obtain a fat pay packet. An alien can be killed if it falls in a hole, blah, blah, blah. And then here's the ending part of it, is because they have to explain why there's a time limit. The aliens are plant-based.
Yeah.
And they eat up the oxygen. So if you don't clear them out of the building fast enough, they eat all the oxygen up and die. But the foreman likes oxygen so much that if you do it quickly, he'll pay you for all the remaining oxygen in the building.
I am like that foreman. I too enjoy oxygen and willing to pay for his presence.
So that is the story of Roland Goes Digging. The actual gameplay is Space Panic.
Yeah.
And I don't mean it's kind of like Space Panic. I mean, this is Space Panic. Space Panic is an arcade game that I believe came out a few years earlier, where you...
it's considered the first platform game.
It is.
Yeah.
You basically dig holes, and when an alien walks over the hole, it will fall into it. And at that time, if you fill the hole back in, you'll kill the alien.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same way it works here. Roland will dig holes with his spade. An alien falls in. If you don't get the hole filled back in time, the alien climbs back out and becomes an angry alien, which at that point he has to fall through two holes. Actually falls through the first hole into the second hole. And then you have to run down there and fill it in, and you'll kill them that way. Basically, if you get angry aliens, reset the game. Because getting them to fall in two consecutive holes is so difficult. And in the later levels, they start out angry. But it's so difficult that it's game-breaking. It's game-breaking in Space Panic, too, that has the same rule set. This controls fine.
Yeah.
It looks fine. It sounds fine. It's Space Panic. If you like Space Panic, this is a fine rendition to play on your Amstrad. If you don't like Space Panic, this isn't going to change your mind, because it is a 100% ripoff.
You know, do you like Space Panic?
I understand and enjoy the concept of Space Panic, and will load it up on MAME, once every 6-7 months.
I think I was introduced to this, and Curtis, if you're listening, you might be able to confirm this, but I'm pretty sure there's a Space Panic port on the Coco. That's where I think I first played it. If not that, it would have been, I don't think I ever saw it in the arcade, but I was familiar with it,
right?
Because it had a rep too, and it is a difficult game.
Yes,
and it's got. You could tell they were beginning to learn some different game mechanics, but they weren't quite there, and so it's one I would play, but I always found it quite difficult. To be honest with you.
It's a hard game.
And so when I rolled into this game's actually a little bit easier than the arcade version, and for a couple reasons. One, it's got variable. You can slow it down if it's too fast.
Yes.
You've also got your when you dig fast. I found it like you dug pretty fast.
Yeah, it takes less digs to get a hole completely emptied out.
Yeah, I think Curtis said Color Panic. That's the one I was thinking of on the Coco. And so But I noticed that, as I recall, and we talked about this before the show, in the arcade, when you get an alien in your hole, you have to sort of rebury him with several button punches. On this one, you sort of have to throw one pile of dirt on him, and he goes. I found the aliens. Here's my biggest problem with this game, my biggest problem is it goes from like you're screwed to you're bored very quickly.
Yeah.
Because to do well at this game, you sort of have to anticipate aliens. You have to get some holes ready.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then at that point, you've got to sort of wait until the aliens wander into your hole. You can't trick them into going into the hole. You can't chase them and go into a hole. They just sort of fall in the hole.
They do seem to neander.
Right.
That's true.
And if you get down to like one alien and there's a lot of board up there and there's no camp in your holes at that point. You sort of got to go up and just try to hope he'll go in the corner for a while and you can dig a hole and he'll come back out and he has nowhere else to go. Because I can't say that they actively avoid the holes, but they sort of don't go in the holes because I guess it's sort of random. Now, all that said, I did like the fact, like I said, that you could change the speed. I also like the fact that it gave you that color choice. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
In fact, the video we're looking at now, I actually put it up. I mostly played the green version. I don't know why. It just struck me as funny. But the fact of the matter is, the best part of this is when you bury an alien, it literally shows you money.
Yeah, you get paid.
you get it's like £2 or whatever. So I can understand why Roland is motivated to get these suckers knocked out. But I mean, you're right. It is a Space Panic game for all intents and purposes.
Oh yeah.
It's a good one.
It's
multi-level. It's nice. Roland moves well, and the sound is, it's okay. It's nothing to write home about. But it doesn't bring anything new to the table that I saw, with the exception of the money situation, that was kind of funny.
Right.
It's just Space Panic. So if you like Space Panic, this is the game for you. It's a good home version. I mean, it's really good.
Yeah.
But it's no big. I don't know if they actually had a licensed Space Panic on this on the Amstrad or not.
I can't imagine. I mean, why would you need it?
I'm not sure. I wonder if Space Panic got any official ports. It'd be interesting to look into. I don't know. But it's funny. A couple shows ago, when we were playing a game that had a palette that was just like Space Panic, and it was killing me trying to remember this game. And then sure enough, a couple of shows later, here comes this Space Panic hones into view. But yeah. It was okay. It wasn't the best thing I ever played. Nah, it didn't do a whole lot for me, I'll be honest with you.
What did the users think of this? Because I know we got a couple user reviews on this game.
We did. Let me pull them up here on the Gambletron.
While you're doing that, if you're thinking, man, Roland Goes Digging for the Amstrad sounds like the best thing ever, I've got to have it, you can find it on eBay for about £9 British. That translates to about 11.5 US. So it is out there for anyone who wants to acquire it.
We had a couple people actually sending reviews this week. That's unusual. So our good buddy, Duncan Styles, our good friend, writes, if I had been given this game with my brand new CPC, then I wouldn't have been impressed. Thank God I was given Sorcery Plus and Amsoft Grand Prix instead. This game moves and plays well enough, but is a very basic type of game that I would have avoided back in the day. 6 out of 10.
I think that's fair.
Our good buddy, the perennial reviewer, Graham W. Vebke, writes, I enjoyed being asked if I had a green screen, maybe more than the game. See, Graham and me, kindred spirits. It attempts to be a Lode Runner style clone, but the alien enemies are mindless and run almost always on set patterns, except when they look like a tomato after falling into a hole. Dig holes and hope they catch them before they get mad and refill the holes to kill them. Give me Horus on the ZX Spectrum. I said at ZX Spectrum as a mascot any day. 4 out of 10. So, I'm guessing Graham probably hasn't played Space Panic. Again, it wasn't a widely. I mean, I know about it, but there you go. So overall, I would say I agree with their assessments. I was underwhelmed with this particular effort. So,
and I'm also underwhelmed by Roland as a mascot.
No, I like him as a mascot because I like that gimmick. I think that's kind of funny.
Oh, I think that when you have a mascot, you have to have a certain bit of control over what he looks like and what he does, and the Amstrad did not do that at all.
There you go.
So what did you bring to the table,
Well,
Mr. Aaron?
When this came around, like I said, I knew instantly what I was going to play because there's been a piece of software in the news for a while, and the past week or two, it's been released.
Yes.
It's an Amstrad title.
Yes.
And so I had to go for it. And so shield your eyes as I begin to play. You've got it, Pinball Dreams.
Yes.
Brent. Pinball Dreams.
Absolutely.
Now I would have felt like a doofus if I hadn't given this thing a whirl. Especially given my Amiga roots, where I played this game quite a bit. In fact, of all the pinball games, this is one I'm fairly intimate with, having played it for years and years and years. And I know you played it quite a bit too.
Yep.
So, Pinball Dreams was never ported to the Amstrad.
Of course not. No madman would ever try.
Not in their worst fever dream would they consider doing it. But the guys over at the Batman group said, "Oh, we're going for it," and they did, and so they began work on this thing in October of 2016, and completed work just a couple weeks ago, and released it as a free download. The Batman group is a group mostly known for their demo stuff.
Demo scene.
The guys that I have listed as having worked on this, and I know there was a slew of guys, but I have got Rhino, Tony Galvez, and the Batman himself was involved in this particular one. They also did a lot of Amiga demos. I wrote down some here to list them. They did, in fact, some of these are quite recent. And the most recent one I could find was Batman versus Bane.
Oh.
Always a good fight there.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
You remember in the old animated series where Batman first met Bane? One of my favorite episodes. I love that one. Then you've got Posada's Party in Vitro 2K19. That's May of 2019. They released that. Batman versus Catwoman. Got to have that one in there. June 2018. Androgynous 05, which is a music demo, and Nippon Taste from February 2015. So they've had a slew more. These are all Amiga demos. These are guys that are sort of all over the place, but I found a little interview with them, the Batman group, and they're a group of friends. It says here they're mainly from the south of Spain, and they've been around since the early 90s, which is kind of cool. He's got a huge. I'm not gonna go through the list of guys that worked this, but it's like a ton of people that are involved in that particular group.
Sure.
I was interested to see why they picked the name, and they all thought Batman was pretty cool, and they sort of just decided
Batman is pretty cool.
Yeah. So the interviewer here, I don't know if I wrote down where this interview came from. I'll put it up on the show notes. He asks, why the CPC, why the Pinball Dreams, and the Batman Group stated straight up that they think that CPC doesn't have the rep it deserves as a gaming platform, and they were going to go to work on it and try to port this over. Sort of I'm not going to say this is an Amiga port, but I think that was what they used as their basis because of course Pinball Dreams got released to a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the game itself. Again, this is a free release, so if you've got an Amstrad or a good emulator, you can go get this right now.
Yeah.
So bear that in mind.
I do believe they tried to get this as a boxed game. And
I've not heard anything about that.
Yeah,
so
my understanding was they wanted to get this as a boxed game. I don't know if they couldn't get the license or they couldn't get distributed or what it was. But they at one time, this was planned to be a boxed release. The whole 9 yards.
I know the last I heard about the actual legality of it was that this was done with the consent of the team that did Pinball Dreams, but I can't say that was certain.
Of course, that means almost nothing.
Well,
having their blessing is nice.
I think this is a legal release. I think, but don't hold me to that
they released it as free.
Right.
So
Pinball Dreams, if you are not familiar with it, was a pinball game. That was released back in the day. It came out on the Amiga in '92, and it was a revolution in pinball play.
It was.
I mean, when I first saw it, I could not freaking believe how impressive it was. And we both love pinball. As I look over at 4 pinball machines sitting over here, we're both pinball fans.
Yes.
And so even back then, we loved pinball. And so when this came out, it was sort of like playing pinball as opposed to like beep and boop. pinball that
it
you
was
got
the first
used to.
one to really get the physics close.
If you think about early attempts at pinball, okay, and I'm talking your Atari pinballs,
Sure.
or the Channel F had that pinball game, which was really more like a breakout type game. The Odyssey had a real remedial pinball, and then you had your stuff like your pinball construction sets, your Dave's Midnight Magic, right? Those are, and don't get me wrong, I'm not killing these games, but they're playing the hand they're dealt for the most part.
They were doing the best they could with what they had.
The power of the 16-bit Amiga and its ilk, and eventually the PC and Super Nintendo and everything else, all that stuff got ported to, you were required for a pinball game of that quality, or so we thought. So flash forward to today, where this game honed into view. Now, I had seen video of this game. I had not played it, and so I was sort of excited to play it. And so I went through, and I played each table. And what I did was I emulated the table, and then on my other TV, I actually put the Amiga version up to compare it, the play field, and sort of how it felt, you know. So what you get on this, and I should say that the intro to this is awesome. It's just exactly like the Amiga intro with a more of a chiptune sound.
Yeah.
Because you've got those lower, you've got you're working with 8%. The Am's just got pretty good sound, to be honest with you, which we'll get into that in a moment. But the intro comes up. I mean, it's dead on. It's dead on. It's like a lower res version of the Amiga. It's exactly the same. Everything's the same. Buttons the same. Everything when it comes up. The music, all the intro stuff, it's perfect. So that right there, I was like, okay, they at least paid attention to the details here. Then you've got your tables. You've got Ignition, you've got Steel Wheel, Beatbox, and Nightmare. I'm going to go through these in order as I played them, which I went right down the line. So Ignition is a rocket space themed pinball machine that you play. It's a beautiful table. It's one of my favorites of the bunch, and you go through it, and I went through and compared how this stacked up against its Amiga brother. Now what you've got here is the Amiga tables are very zoomed in, and you'll get about a third of the screen scrolls. And so on the Amstrad version, the tables are smaller. They're more delicate tables, if you will, and they're more. You've got empty space on the sides there because they just didn't spread it out the whole way.
Right.
Now, you'd think that would be irritating, and I swear to you, Brent, as sure as I'm sitting here, Pinball Dreams is my favorite of the pinball titles from 21st century, and there's a reason. It's because it's the one that has the most real estate when you play. Because they've still got the old sort of dot matrix display, and they've got more. There's more visible play field to me, and the Amstrad version gives you even more play field.
Yeah.
And so it is very easy to line up shots and have a grasp, because when it comes to scrolling pinball, it's difficult. That's the one disadvantage, is that when you try to line up shots at the top of the screen that are off screen, you're effectively lining them up off the visual targets that they have put on the screen that go there. Now, I will say, the boys that originally did Pinball Dreams knew that, and they did a good job of lining stuff up for the most part to help you, to guide you to make those shots. I found the shot making in this quite easy, and I mean in a good way, because I could line the shots up because I had more real estate. I could see more of the screen. All right. Something else that I was surprised is that the tables and Ignition is no different than the other ones. I guess we sort of talk about all these at once in a weird way, because one thing they all share is they're pretty much duplicates of the original tables.
Oh yeah.
When I mean duplicates, I mean art. I mean lights. I did not go through. I didn't go through and trigger all the modes or anything.
Oh yeah.
I did the best I could. But the lights are there now. What they've had to do since these tables aren't as wide, what they've done is they've basically relabeled the lights with basically initials instead of having like the full the full word as to what they do. They have like initials in the thing, so you could. That's the one thing you sacrifice. It's just there's not enough real estate to print the labels on the stickers. As far as I could tell, the DMD at the top is identical. I couldn't see any difference in that. So there's that. Now the second one here, you got Steel Wheel, which is it's kind of a cowboy type game. Where it's like the Old West, and then you've got Beatbox, which is sort of a music producing show. Beatbox was probably my second favorite of the tables. And I think my top favorite was probably Nightmare, which is the last table, just because I think it's cool. It's it's horror really, and I always thought that was kind of neat. I like that one. They did include everything from Nightmare, including the upside down crosses and all the stuff that was in the original. I was wondering if they were gonna I should have known Batman group, but I could screw around.
Right. Faithful recreation.
So one of the big aspects that made Pinball Dreams so good was the sound effects. Now, you're not going to get digitized sound effects like that on the Amstrad. So what did they do? Well, what they did was the best they could. You've got the music on this was surprisingly good. I couldn't believe how good the music was, to be honest with you. What did you think of the tunes on this thing?
They were good.
They did a good job of sort of matching them up to the old tunes. You're not going to get that Amiga, that rich Amiga sound, but it was a fun chip-tuney tunes. I thought. Did you enjoy them?
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to, because my review of this sort of ties into what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I don't go and play Pinball Dreams every day. I probably haven't played Pinball Dreams for probably about a decade.
I've played it before this came out. I'd played it in the last month. I do play it quite a bit.
So if someone would have plopped this down in front of me and fired it up and said, "Have some Pinball Dreams," first of all, I would have never even fathomed that this was an Amstrad game for a multitude of reasons. I would have probably said that this is some kind of Amiga, maybe reduced quality to run on a 500 or something, which I think the original would play on them anyway. But I would have not said anything about the graphics. I would not have thought anything about the scrolling or the physics. None of that. I would have just said I would have played it, and I would have thought I was playing something that had existed for 30 years. The only aspect of this that I would have went, this doesn't remind me of what I've played in the past, is the sound. And it's because they cannot... It was impossible to get that digitized sound from the Amiga, like you said.
Yeah.
The music, what they've put in place of it, is really good.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. But it's not digitized sound.
That's true.
And that is for me, that is the only aspect that I would have went, I don't quite remember this game like this. Everything else, the way it plays, the way it looks, the way it feels, what is close enough for me that I would have been fooled into thinking I was playing a different version.
Let me ask you a question here. How did you feel about flipper responsiveness?
I thought it was fine.
Now, see, that's one area where I wonder. I had what I felt was a fairly significant, by pinball standards, delay between hitting the button and getting the flippers. That was my one big gripe. Now, it was easily anticipated. But for me, it felt, and the thing is, having ran this on an emulation, I'm not going to condemn this because I couldn't say for sure. And maybe if anybody in the chat room have played this, then you could comment if you felt like there was any significant delay between hitting the button and doing the flippers. Getting back to the music, it's funny. Digitized sound is a mixed blessing when it comes to pinball because it gets abused a lot. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And you'll hear the same sound, over and over and over.
Sure.
And in recent years, and we both came from the virtual pinball area and future pinball, where people were abused phrases from movies and stuff, and they're too long, and it overlaps. They didn't do that here.
No.
It's funny. I actually, in some ways, I was happy with the music because it's a throwback. But the lack of sound effects were, for the most part, not a huge deal.
No, I agree.
I will say that on the train level, for example, they simulate sort of a train whistle real well.
Yeah.
That's the one that really got me. I thought that was really good. The truth of the matter is, my favorite of the bunch is Nightmare. A lot of fun. The only thing I don't like about it's the launch. I never liked how it launches. I didn't like it in the original. It just throws it. I like
a game aspect.
Listen, I like a proper launcher. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
But if I had to rank these tables, in fact, I will say Beatbox doesn't play as well as Pinball Dreams. I didn't get as much enjoyment out of that. That's the one I thought was the biggest. That's the one I thought they came least close to getting right. And I don't know if it's because of the sound. I just didn't think Beatbox. I've played an extensive amount. It was. I mean. Now, you've got to take all this. I'm not killing this because...
No, this is unkillable.
What you're doing here is ludicrous.
Yes.
The fact that an 8-bit machine is playing this at this level, and we didn't even touch on the aspects of the actual physics of the ball.
Oh, it's good.
Now, listen. I resigned myself that when I played this, I was going to get some of this stuff where the ball would get caught on stuff, the ball would get lodged on stuff, the ball would come down like weighed 1,000,000 pounds. Or you couldn't get any action. This game has the same merits and flaws from a physics perspective that the original Pinball Dreams does. Pinball Dreams, the ball always felt heavy. You know what I mean?
It does.
In the original.
Yes, I agree.
And they carried that same feeling. I thought they lightened the ball up substantially in the second in Pinball Fantasies. And I think
to a detriment, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I think it could have been lighted up a little bit. My point is, this when they ported this over, they ported it over. They ported that physics over, and the physics felt very similar, didn't it?
Absolutely. And one thing about video pinball games, especially the ones you find on your Xboxes and your really modern ones, they've got a thing where if you get the ball 3/4 way up the ramp, it's usually close enough, and they'll push it on through.
And I hate that.
I hate that. I like when I shoot it up the ramp, if I don't get over the crest, the ball's coming back.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's little aspects like that you might not think about that really pushes this beyond any, because there's no routine that says if ball goes here, then do this. This is all, programmed in physics. Yeah. And I love it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. The physics in modern pinball, they've gotten in this bad habit of making the ball feel almost like a ping pong ball.
Yes.
It's super light. Pinball ain't like that, y'all. Like Brent said, the ball isn't going to travel all the way around the table every time. Right. It's not supposed to. These guys got it when they originally did this, and Batman Group got it too. And I give them full props. So if you had to rank these in terms of which ones you liked on this particular offering, how would you rank these?
Nowhere near yours. I love Steel Wheel.
Okay.
That would probably be my number one. And then Ignition, Nightmare, Beatbox. Okay,
I would probably go Nightmare, Steel Wheel, Ignition, Beatbox. I would say Beatbox. And the thing is, Beatbox is my favorite, my second favorite. It's right near the top in terms of the actual. I don't know. That was the one and the thing is, I can't sit here and pinpoint what I didn't like about it. I just didn't like it. Didn't flow well for me for whatever reason. But a triumph, an absolute triumph this is. The Batman Group have done the impossible.
They really have. Can you imagine if this released in like 1985?
Oh my God, it would have been
it would have been a million seller.
If you think about the game we just played, and then you say, oh yeah, this came off on that same system, it makes your brain melt.
Yeah,
it
does.
Now I will say, one thing I learned this week having to get this thing running under emulation is that this does require extended memory.
Yes.
I do know that. Now.
Yeah. Well, you just get it jacked up.
Yeah, I did, but I'm not. If I've got an Amstrad, I'm not savvy enough. On the Amiga, like for example, the Amiga 1000, you got your 256 mega memory, and then you need that expansion, K, and so, they all came with them. So I don't know how common. My point is, I don't know how common memory expansion in the Amstrad were. I don't know if it's something they shipped with.
No idea.
I don't know if it was super expensive. I mean, on Amiga, they got memory expansions coming out the yin yang.
Yeah.
So I don't know how big a deal a memory expansion is. But if you consider that you don't need a processor expansion, you don't need a video expansion, you don't need any sort of physics expansion or an MPEG card. All you need is memory. This is an absolute triumph.
It is.
And the word on the street from the Batman Group was that at the peak of this. Of Pinball Dreams on the Amstrad, they still were only using about 50% of the processing power of the
Which
Amstrad.
is incredible.
That goes to show you that given the amount of time it would take and the amount of effort, you could really do some remarkable stuff.
Yep.
And I've got a feeling this might usher in a new wave of Amstrad love.
That would be awesome. I would love, like I said at the beginning of the show, this was my beginning taste of the Amstrad.
Yeah.
And I can see where the games run both sides of the gamut. I would love to dig into this and find all those little nuggets that are just awesome.
Yeah, this you're not going to see this come down the pike every day. This is a true. My hat's off to them. You know, there are some of these independent like demo groups that do good work. You know, and they're unsung. And I look at like guys like the guys over at the company for the Amiga that do this stuff.
Sure.
For example, and some of these demo guys and gamers, dudes, end up being some of the best game makers. You know, a lot of demo guys go in to do games.
Well, you've got to know the system, and they know the system.
But the fact that these guys did this in 2019 I think is remarkable. And they're getting showered with praise and glory, and they should, because they're quite amazing.
You got a couple of user reviews?
I do. The Dunk lit up the board with this review. He said, "Awesome. The CPC is never going to match the Amiga on graphics and sound capabilities, but it does its very best here. The gameplay is spot on, however. Everyone who has history with an 8-bit machine needs to play this. 10 out of 10. A major review.
Yeah.
Our buddy Graham says, "It's unfortunate this game took so long for me to get working. I couldn't get it to work on any emulator other than the Retro Virtual Machine." And I'll admit, part of it for me was just learning. I don't know if Graham has an extensive Amstrad background. I don't, and so I had to just figure out how to like load stuff. But once I figured it out,
there were walkthroughs.
The game.
That's what I used.
I only had one table demo of the Ignition. It plays very well. It's smooth. The animations are great. The ball moves and reacts like pinball. The tables look great. The sounds are appropriate. It would have been a real hit back in the day. 8 out of 10. I suggest you that if Graham gets to play the entirety of the game without limited pain, he will probably knock that score up.
Yeah.
Knock that score up a notch. So this. I thought this was a real winner and one of those games that you're going to go down into history. Like this is, I mean, these guys made their name. I mean, they were known, but now they're something.
Yeah.
And the fact that they gave this game away, and that may have been part of the deal for being able to do the port. I mean, I guess they could have done it. No one would have probably said anything, but I don't know how. I don't know how they handled it.
When it comes to that legal stuff, you never know.
You never know.
If this group said, "Hey, we're going to make an original property for the Amstrad. Give us some money." I bet they're going to get it now.
Well,
and I think they could do some incredible stuff.
I don't know if these guys take donations or anything, but I'll throw it out there. Batman Group, if you're taking donations for your next Amstrad offering, and these guys, keep in mind, these guys are Amiga demo guys, so hey, I wouldn't mind seeing you bring a little of that sweet action my way, brothers.
They could port this to the. Oh wait,
I'm a big Batman fan. I'm down with that, but I'd like to see this come down the line. So, with that in mind, Brent, we will move along from the spinning ball to the spinning wheel. It's time.
All right,
to spin the wheel.
It's sort of like a spinner target.
Well said. It took you a second there, but you got it out.
Spinner targets are hard.
Fans, and it's a double miracle this week. The Batman Group did that, and Brent made new wheel pieces, folks.
We've got both the Dick Smith and movie games added to the wheel.
All right, here we go. Try not to kill yourself tonight.
There we go.
All right. Normally, you always pick one of the new things. So let's see if that happens yet again. Not today, folks. Brent, what do we got?
We have movie games?
Movie games. All right.
Wait a minute. I see some flim-flammery. Movie games was on the wheel twice.
That's not flim-flammery. That's Brent screw-uppery is what that is. That means it's destined. Thank God there's not real money being bet on this. You're an idiot. You've done it again. So, what are the rules of movie games, Brent?
It's got to be a game based on a movie.
Oh, well, that makes sense to me. So, across any platform or system throughout history and time?
That's correct. Why not?
Is there any type of movie in particular, or just any movie, any film?
It's all good.
Holy smokes. Movie games.
Yeah, I know what I'm playing.
Already, you know?
Oh,
my God. I'm afraid to ask with you because your picks are always goofy and oddball. So, in case you didn't hear, we record this here show every Sunday morning, 9 a.m.
local time.
We started around 8:30. warm up a little bit, opening act stuff. Then we come out and do the big show. Then there's a meet and greet after. That's the way we do it. Now, we've batted around what to do with putting this show up. Of course, we're always available in podcast format. And the podcast it cuts out the garbage and gets the meat of the show. It's a good deal.
Get in, get out, clean.
In fact, last week's podcast, I edited in stuff that we forgot to say on the actual show seamlessly, so you'll never know. But we have been debating what to do with our live show versus our cut-up show. Well, since I'm producing this on the fly, cut-up show gone. We're just putting this up. It'll be posted as soon as the show's over. I put a timestamp on there, so if you want to skip the intro stuff and just go directly to the show, you just go to that. Easy, done deal. And, that's how we're going to do it going forward. So no more double posting the show every week. I got tired of it. Screw it. It didn't make any sense. So that's how we're going to play. Now, Brent, let people know once again about your Thanks for Giving Marathon and what they need to do to contact us.
Absolutely. If you are a Patreon, you should have seen a new post on the Patreon page requesting you to send in pie piece ideas for us for our Thanks for Giving Marathon that will take place the last Friday of November, which I believe is the 29th?
Day after Thanksgiving in America, that's all I know.
So what we're requesting, one pie piece, it can be a computer, it can be a genre of game, it can be games with red in the title, absolutely anything. Go nuts. We have plenty of plain Jane pieces. We want some crazy pieces to have a lot of fun on the Thanks for Giving Marathon.
And if we have if we have a system that you're offering, that your wheel offering exists on, we're going to use the actual systems right here on the show.
Yeah, we're going to use as many live systems as possible.
I'll be toting stuff in from the main house out here. We're going to have, it's going to be console and computer mania running wild.
So you can contact us at the address above, the ARG Presents at mail.com, or you can private message one of us on Discord, or you can respond to the Patreon post on the Patreon page, and we will get your wheel selection. If, for some reason, your wheel selection does not come up during the Thanks for Giving Marathon, it will stay on the wheel until it does come up. Please have the submissions in before October 31st. That's when our deadline is.
Now, let me ask you a question here, since I'm not fully in the loop here. How are we going to, so we're going to put the people's selections on the wheel or spin it, and just go keep playing until we play them all? Is that how it's going to work?
Well, no, each piece is going to get about 30 minutes of play.
Yeah.
So if we have more pieces than we have time for, like I said, they're just going to stay on the wheel. We're going to get to them eventually in a regular episode.
The true miracle of this show will be the fact that Brent will have to print up a bunch of pie pieces before the end of November. That's stunning.
That's why I wanted a full month to get ready.
Any more announcements you want to throw out? Brent will be spearheading. He's the one-man show, spearheading our new merchandising cavalcade.
Yes.
It's gonna be awesome. What do you got in store for us, Brent? You got to have some doilies, some pot holders, candle warmers. What do you got?
I am looking into producing enamel pins.
Ooh, pins.
The problem is, I think the cost is going to be higher than the community is going to be willing to pay. But I'm going to talk to you guys about that and see what you think.
Instead of enamel, can we use like hot glue?
I mean, I could just put my thumbprint on a bunch of them.
How about wax? That'll work, won't it? We can afford wax, can't we?
First hot day, just melts on everybody.
So,
all right.
We'd like to thank our good buddy the Bark Bit, who does our closing tune.
Yes, awesome.
We got to thank the phenomenal Duncan Styles. I don't know how I never made that comment before. That's AJ Styles' nickname. Who did our awesome, crazy Tron-like gimmicks, our cool intro. He's doing it all. And you should see the thing he's got cooking for it.
I've seen it. It was awesome.
Duncan's like some kind of professional gimmick dude now, that's quite a title.
I love it.
So, join us next week.
Also, our resident reviewer, Graham W. Vetke, always good for a review.
Thank you. Well, just jump right into my closing segment.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Just get out. I'll do the rest
why don't
of the
you
show.
close the show? Go ahead.
Bye, everybody.
Adios, muchachos.
Hey everybody, we're back.
Well
Yeah, for Pat
said.
Billy, Duncan Styles. If you missed it, it's actually going to be available right after we hit stop.
Angus.
So we're going to start upping these on Sundays.
Thank you, Roscoe. Stefano. I like this is like an international flavor here. I love that.
Huge turnout for the Amstrad.
They picked it. They should show up.
We should just change this to Amstrad.
Yeah.
Retro gaming.
You know, listen, no one ever votes for the Wonder Swan, if you know what I'm saying. There's a reason why that one tanked.
I like the Wonder Swan.
You got a Wonder Swan, but no one cares. They want to see that they like the Amstrads. They like the specs. They like the Action Max. Stuff like that, the big players. You know what I mean?
Hey.
The MO5s.
You know why we do them all? Because every once in a while we unearth a wonderful nugget of happiness.
I'll have to say, I knew Pinball Dreams was going to be the bomb.com. It was
really
exceeded
good.
my expectations. I know I was gushed over it, but I mean that's a triumph. For some indie demo dudes just to pull out.
I don't think these are just indie demo dudes. I think these are
I'm
guys
not ragging on
dedicated
them. I'm
to
just
the
saying
craft.
that's an impressive feat in my opinion. They did a good job on that.
There is no sleep for the wicked, Pack Billy.
You know, sadly, I went on a ghost walk last night. Where actually it was a history tour of St. Albans.
Boy, but that was cold.
No, it was actually it was much warmer than it is now.
Oh, fair enough.
And but it was tiring, you know. And so I went to bed pretty early, unfortunately, last night. So I was out pretty quick. So I got
the Auric was a great system.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. Listen, we're not bad mouthing those little systems. They're always fun. I enjoy that. A couple of those I would have like Sam Coupe is a perfect example. I don't know what the hell that was.
Would have never tried to emulate it.
Or the Auric. We stayed away from that Auric piece for a long time. And the other one, the Thompson, there was no way.
Thompson MO5. Yep.
Your ineptitude and laziness is the only reasons those got on the wheel. Because I kept putting those back in the shuffle.
Look at the wheel. Look at the wheel. It's movie games and then movie games. I can't believe you did that.
Wait a minute, no it's not.
Yes it is.
No, it's movie games, Dick Smith Super, and chat subject choice.
No, hold the wheel up here, Aaron.
You said it was movie games and movie games right beside each other. They're not.
It's movie games.
You made a new movie games page. Why are you yelling at me?
It's him, chat.
Listen.
It's always Aaron. No. Aaron told me these are the pieces we absolutely have to have. I've got text proof. I was like, movie games? Okay.
I think it's everyone in the chat room knows you're inept. They know that. And so they know I'm literally holding this ship together. Like, you know, you're digging holes in the deck. You're putting this in the water.
Well, Aaron, I'm trying to get those aliens out of here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
My name's not Roland.
Yeah. You'd be a good Roland. You look sort of like a Roland.
How do you know what Roland looks like? He looks like 12 different things.
Well, I'm saying, I think you could fit right in. I could see you going into the phone booths and stuff, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, well, if I need to make a call.
So, you should dig up, while we're here.
Uh-oh.
What?
Here it comes. Go ahead. Do your thing.
I didn't say anything yet. I didn't say nothing. I was just going to say, we got these submissions here. Let me see here. I want you to look these over.
Yes, I believe the rule, Curtis, is a game that has been based off a movie. Although a movie based off a game would be very good. Like Mortal Kombat, you could have that whole loop.
See, if we hadn't done it, we could have done Poltergeist. That would have fit right in there, but me and Bo just did it. It would be a good one. So right here, see, you've got several people here. Like for example, our good buddy Dave Pickford's got one in here. That's a good choice.
That's a great choice.
We're not even going to say it.
No. You can't ruin the fun.
You've got, there you go. Hey, listen, that was another fun show. We could do that one. So we've got that one. I don't know if that's emulatable. I want to look into that one. I'd like to try. Yeah. You know what that is, don't you?
Oh, yes, I do.
There's another one. There's another one right there.
See, that one we're going to save.
Yeah.
We've got the other one, but I don't know how much of a difference.
Well, maybe we'll do that one on the big show, on the Thanks for Giving marathon. So it should be a good time. We've already gotten several submissions, and a new one just came in, so that should be a lot of fun. So if you're
we're just wrapping up, Roscoe.
Yeah, if you are a Patreon subscriber, and by the way, even if you're not a Patreon thing, no big deal, no pressure. We know how it is. We're types.
That's very po.
Everyone come in on Thanksgiving, the day of Thanksgiving. We should find out what the exact date on that since you dropped the ball.
I'm almost sure it's the 28th.
Well, I mean, you could have looked at for like 2 seconds. You get a calendar on your deal there. It's the 29th.
Yeah, 28th is Thanksgiving. 29th.
Yeah, but you just said
show.
you just said 2 seconds ago you were pretty sure it's the 28th, which is incorrect.
You asked when Thanksgiving was.
I'm going to write it down here. Let's see, November.
Always trying to type, folks.
29th.
Thanks for giving.
Thanks for giving. Whoops.
Spelled it wrong.
It was a typo. Marathon. 10 hours. 10 hours. It's going to be a big one. There you go. That'll be a lot of fun. It'll be like the last Taze Valley meeting with 6 more hours.
Structure.
Yeah.
And food maybe. Hey, speaking of food.
Yeah, that will be good.
I'm hungry.
Well, yeah. Let's take this thing to the house.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging and banging with us, everybody. We will catch you guys on the flip side. Hey, one quick item before we go.
Duncan, I
got to the first second. I got to the 4th level.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, 3rd level?
Yeah.
3rd level.
Yeah.
3rd level.
I enjoyed the money aspect, but otherwise it was Space Panic.
You know, I'll tell you something, Dunk. It's funny you should bring this up because
how often do we play? How long do we play a game?
Yeah, a game like this, I'll set what I do, and this is what I did because I don't want to have to reload it. I left it on my computer like for a couple days in the background, and what I would do is just roll in and play it for a while. So I play it sort of over the series of the week. I don't know how many, like, would I say it's like, I played 10 hours of it? No, but I play it.
Oh no, I don't think I've ever played a game for this show 10 hours.
I'd play 1 or 2 games of it, and then I would come back and play a little bit later, you know. Which is the same thing I did with Pinball Dreams too. I did the exact same thing. I'd come in and play some, but that one, one night I just sat down and got the big screen ready with the Amiga so I could compare them. And it was quite remarkable. Yeah, but we played it.
My minimum for a game, and this is the same. This is the wheelhouse that Roland Goes Digging falls into is a half an hour. Even if the game doesn't deserve a half an hour's worth of play, I try to play it for that long. But things like Roland Goes Digging, I know where I've played Space Panic ad nauseum. You know, I've played dozens of hours of Space Panic. And once I realized this is Space Panic, I knew what I was in for. Yeah. But I still play it for its sound, for the graphics. But the gameplay aspects kind of ruined for me at that point because I know what to expect.
Were you a fan, Dunk? I gotta ask. Since I mean, did you think that it was better than we did, or did you think it was?
We gave it what a 6.
Yeah.
So that's about where I put it.
Yeah.
I mean, it did everything fine.
It was, and it ran at a good clip. I never thought my guy. Those aliens had good closing speed too. I mean, if you missed the ladder and never run your tail,
you were screwed.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't. You know that's the old game, so they were punishing. They didn't give a crap about anything. You know, so. All right, let's put this thing to bed. Thanks for joining us, everybody. This will be up on podcast come Tuesday evening, and this will be going up immediately after we close this thing down. So.
Yep.
Oh, no. Oh yeah. I knew I was getting to something. Next week, there will be no Amigos or Sinclair on Friday. Boat has, in fact, the next 2 weeks, Boat's going to be out of town. So I'll be doing ARG, and then I'll be getting into the hose mobile and driving across town to Boat's house, and we're going to do Amigos probably around 1:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time the next 2 Sundays. It'll be Amigos. It'll be
holy cow.
It'll be Sinclair, and then the second thing we'll probably do another Coco show as well. So it'll be a Sunday effort. Hey, listen, that's our other time to record. There's nothing we can do about it because Boat's got to be at town. So if you're tuning in, if you're tuning in on Friday to see Amigos, we're not going to be there. So and Sinclair, as Boat announced, Sinclair will be released. Usually he releases Sinclair that night. It'll be released a couple days late for those 2 weeks. Nothing you can do about that. So that's real life for you, you know.
That's it.
All right, guys. We will touch base with you fellows next time, and thanks for joining us. Adios.
ARG.
Oh, God. You're pathetic.